What's up, everybody? I wanted to make a video about the mind state of an addict, or just the mind of an addict, because I'm gonna tell you what made me think of it. So I went to drink some Coke or some Pepsi. I forget what it was. I think it was Pepsi, actually. Pepsi. And I had just got, so I had a cup of Pepsi. Matter of fact, here's the cup right here. It's got Pepsi in it. I had some grease on my hands from the pizza. So I got pizza, bought this soda, right? And I had grease on my hands from the pizza. So I took some hand sanitizer and I put the hand sanitizer on my hands, went like this, right? And then right after, literally a second after I did it, I grabbed the cup and I took a sip. Well, because I could smell the hand sanitizer and taste the Pepsi at the same time, my brain automatically compared it to Captain and Coke, because I could smell alcohol and taste soda at the same exact time. And for a second, just a second, my brain thought I was drinking alcohol, thought I was having a mixed drink. And like, that's the mind of an addict. Is like, it's not so much an addict being a bad person, it's your brain. Like, your brain is not firing correctly at all cylinders, as my dad used to always say. You're not firing on all cylinders. But like, you know, most people would just say, oh, I smell hand sanitizer. But like, my brain said, you're drinking a mixed drink. You know, you're drinking a mixed drink, because I could smell alcohol and taste soda at the same time. It's kind of amazing how that happens. I tell this story all the time, where I would cry on my way to buy drugs. I would be crying on my way to buy dope, begging myself to please turn the vehicle around, turn the car around. And I didn't. I couldn't. I don't know, I just couldn't. It's frustrating. It sucked not being in control of my own actions. And I think that's where people get confused about addicts, is that they think, damn it, why did you make that bad decision again? And like, I guess after you're clean for a little bit and you relapse, I guess maybe that part would be a decision. But, and sure, if you want to say the first high is a decision, sure. Regardless of how you got there, if you're there, it sucks. Getting high every day against your will. And this is the way I describe it to people, is imagine waking up every single day and having an ungodly urge to put deadly poison in your body. Because that's what it is. Sometimes if you break it down like that, it kind of displays how crazy it is and how serious it is. Waking up every single day with an ungodly urge to put deadly poison in your body. It's like, I mean, when you say it like that, it really it really gives it like some depth of how intense the situation is. Is like, I mean, I explain it a lot of times to parents like this, is like, a normal person, if they touched a hot stove one time, it would burn their finger, they would pull it away, and they wouldn't touch the stove no more. But addicts sit there and keep touching it and touching it and touching it and touching it and touching it, and they're going, stop. Stop doing that. It's going to kill you. It's going to kill you. And they look at them, say, I'll never do it again. Look back, and then touch the stove again right in front of them. It's like, what are you doing? Why do you keep doing that? Is there something wrong with you? Are you crazy? Do you want to die? Like, why do you keep doing it? And I'm guilty of saying that to people myself. Like, what do you want to die? Like, what are you doing? Not that I forget where I come from, because I don't. But it's just hard to watch somebody continue to do something like that. But I get it. I understand it. It's difficult. It's not easy as it sounds it would be. It does. Logically, it does sound easy, right? Logically, it does. You would say, okay, heroin has fentanyl in it. It's killing everybody. It's taking your kids away from you. It's taking your career away from you. It's taking everything you own away from you. Stop doing it. Seems logical. But addiction does something different to the brain, and it's not easy. It's not as simple as just not doing it. I guess for me is like once I was able to get past a certain point, I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. I always imagine it in my brain as like addiction having a hold on me for a long time, and then finally once I just had enough strength and courage and was willing to do what I had to, I broke free of it. And once I broke free, I haven't thought about it since. Like I always say this all the time, is I watch people inject heroin all the time. When I do outreach trips, I go down under bridges, and these people are down there smoking crack, shooting heroin, smoking weed, rolling up K2 joints, sniffing coke, sniffing dope, popping pills, drinking beer. I watch them do it all the time. All the time. Probably at least once every 2 weeks since I started doing this, I watch somebody do some form of drug or alcohol. And I'm talking about face to face, like sitting or standing right in front of me doing it. It has no effect on me whatsoever. I don't even think about it. It doesn't even cross my mind. It looks like the worst thing in the world to me anymore. Think of it like this too, right? Look. Yeah, that happens a lot, is where addicts will go looking for the dope that killed their friend or killed somebody they know, or there's a thing right here in Elkton, Maryland, which is literally 5 minutes from where I'm at right now. I'm in Delaware right now, but Elkton, Maryland, right down the street. They had a married couple who was on heroin. They were married, right? They bought dope together. The wife died that night from an overdose. The next morning, the husband died from the same dope, knowing how strong it is. And still did it anyway. You hear all the time, like that's why every time I see these, I get a phone call. I know a lot of people in Delaware who like work in the fire department or work with the police or work with different outreach groups and stuff like that. They'll call me and say, hey, there's a stamp called Nike going around that's got fentanyl in it, da-da-da. Now, I can't post that. I can't say, if you could look back from the first day I started my Facebook, I've never mentioned a stamp one on here. And the only reason I just said Nike is because my Nike hat's right there, and first thing I looked at, I seen. If you say which stamp is killing people, more people will die if you bring that stamp up. Because as soon as people hear that stamp, they will go looking for it. And that should tell you how strong addiction is. This isn't a scientific fact or anything. This is nothing scientific. Think of a human being having a brain and a soul, right? And let's say the soul is what's controlling them, being a good person, saying hi to people, I love you, being a good son, good parent, whatever. And then they have their brain. Addiction is like kills the soul, and the brain's just going by itself with no soul to communicate with. There's no soul there. It's just the brain. And it's on like survival mode, and then it's tricked into thinking that the drug is survival. So people run around like, if you go down into a city somewhere where there's heroin addicts sleeping under bridges, and you ask them, do you like living like this? And they'll all say no. I don't want to guarantee, but I'm pretty sure that you won't find one. I've never found one that says yes. Yes, this is where it's at. When I was a little boy, I wanted to be a homeless heroin addict living under a bridge, and my dreams came true. It'll be hard to find that. And then you can ask them a follow-up question. Do you want to continue to live like this? Almost every single one will say no. And then you ask them one final question. Do you want to go to rehab? And most of them will say no. Doesn't matter what rehab you offer them. It doesn't matter any of that. They'll say no. That's a huge disconnect, because on one hand, you have a person saying, all I want, you could say, what is the one thing you want in life right now? To stop using drugs. Okay, do you want to go to rehab? No, not at all. Nope. Maybe tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow. Then you show up tomorrow and they're gone, or they'll say, well, I owe John $10. They'll come up with something. And that's because the brain is it's like a firewall. It won't let you do it. It's like there's like a glitch, and you can't. It's so hard to explain. You can't make rational decisions. I just had a meeting with some people, the representatives for Senator Kuhn, and we were talking about a couple different things, and I was telling them about forced treatment and my views on forced treatment. And I was telling them that, like, I understand the law side of it is like, how do you take away the rights of a human? How do you take away their rights? Because you can't just go around taking people's rights away and putting them in rehab against their will. You're taking their rights away. How can you do that? And I said, they're not thinking logically or rationally. And if they're at a point where their life is destroyed and they want to get clean but aren't willing to go get help, if you put them into help, a lot of the time, and I'm talking about real help, I'm not talking about a 72-hour hold in Rockford, the psych ward down the street, where you only stay 3 days and you watch TV the whole time. I'm talking about help. I'm talking about like a 14-day detox taper. I'm talking about 6 to 9 months in good treatment where you have trauma therapy, all of these different kinds of counselings and all that kind of stuff. If you put them in there for that amount of time, I think the chances are that by the time that was over, a lot of them would be like 80 pounds heavier, happy, smiling, all of these different things, different meds, making them function correctly, like all of this different stuff. And people always tell me, no, forced treatment doesn't work. But I've seen it work. I know people who got arrested, went to jail, and now have 10 years clean. I know people who were on probation, and the PO said, if you don't go get help, you're going to prison. So that means they were forced into treatment, and now they're sober. Now, I'm not going to say that, like, let's start putting everybody that's on heroin into rehab, not at all. But if, like, somebody overdoses or somebody gets Narcaned more than 3 times in 12 months or 3 times in 12 months, take them rights away, because they're going to die without it. I don't know. To me, that's what it seems like. So I don't know, man. It's just... So that's kind of what I was thinking about, man. That's what kind of brought this topic up for me, is like, for all the new people watching, I said in the beginning, this is what happened just now, is I stopped to get some pizza, right? And in my book bag right there, I have some hand sanitizer, and I also have some right here. I keep hand sanitizer. I have like 50 bottles of hand sanitizer. I keep it everywhere. I just love hand sanitizer, because I like meet a lot of homeless people a lot, and I shake their hands, and I want to clean my hands afterwards because I don't know where their hands have been, and I have to eat and all kinds of stuff. So I keep hand sanitizer everywhere, because I talk to a homeless person almost every single day. Every time I pass one, I stop. I always stop when I pass a homeless person. So as right now, gosh, that shit is strong. If there was any germs on my hand, they're dead. So here's what I did, right? I did the hand sanitizer like this, and then I like reached right over, grabbed my soda. And as I was sipping it, I could smell it on my hand at the same exact time. So I was smelling it and tasting it at the same time. And my brain, this is amazing, my brain for just a second thought I was drinking a mixed drink. I could taste it. I could taste the hand sanitizer. My brain literally thought, is this a mixed drink? I don't remember putting Captain in here. And like, I thought it was a Captain and Coke. Just for a second. Yeah, that's how you do it, Lauren. Anybody who likes to, the kinds of videos I do or different stuff like that, go up right now to the 3 dots in the corner, click on when the screen pops up, hit turn live notifications on. That way you'll always be, you'll be notified anytime I go live. Hey, what's up, Kelly? So, you know, guys, I think, and I want to touch on a couple other things too, is like, so, where was I? Hold on. Shit, where was I? I can't remember where I was. I know it was about 2 weeks ago. I think I was traveling somewhere. My brain, I don't ever know where I'm at. Like, I don't remember, like, my sense of time is so bad. It was always bad, but now that I'm so busy and moving so much and in so many different places, I forget where I'm at half the time. I forget what I have coming up. I forget what I have to do. Like I don't even know what day, what month sometimes. Like it's all over the place. But sometime within the last 3 weeks or so, I walked into, I think it was a motel or something. I don't know what it was. Where was I? It's driving me crazy. Whatever. I walked in and I smelt, I think it was burnt plastic. And it smelt like crack so bad. It was the exact same smell as crack to the T. And my brain immediately was like, is there crack in here? Like, where's this crack? Like, I have a friend of mine, right, who I was hanging out with. He had a couple weeks clean, and I was trying to, like, keep him with me for a couple days to get him, like, kind of back in the swing of things, take him to do an outreach trip, and he used to go to Philly every day to get high. Philly, he can't be near Philly. Every time we got on the highway, like every time we hit 495 from Delaware to Philly, it's only about a 25-minute drive. Every single time, the hair on his neck would stand up. He would get goosebumps. He would get the chills every time we hit the highway. Because, like, it reminded him of going to get high. And, like, he can't be near Philly. Can't be near Philly. It draws him in every time. And, like, even the smell of it. You get close to Philly, you can smell it. And he could, almost like he had, like, another sense. And he could feel it in the air. Like, he could feel Philadelphia in the air. As soon as you got on the highway, I guess there's, like, a chemical plant right there. And you can smell it. Every time you pass the chemical plant, you can smell the chemical plant. And every time he would get on that highway and the smell would come in, he would start getting the chills real bad. You could watch the hair on his neck stand right up. And he would be like, oh my God, dude, like I feel so uncomfortable right now. That's how strong it is. The smell of a chemical plant reminded him, because every time he went to Philly to get high, he smelled the chemical plant. And his brain associated that chemical plant with, I'm almost to Philly. It's amazing how that happens. For me, right? I'm not really want to talk about this, but I'm going to, just because I need to explain it to you. But I used to get really constipated, right, when I was using, really bad. And for some reason, right, as soon as I bought drugs, didn't even have to do them, the second the drugs touched my fingers, I had to use the bathroom really bad. Now, 2 days prior or a day prior, that whole day, I didn't feel like I needed to use the bathroom at all. The second the drugs touched my fingertips, I immediately had to use the bathroom really bad. Really bad. Like, and that was my brain was saying you got the drugs, and I could just, I don't know why it made me use the bathroom, but every time. You're right. So I think that's a huge thing. Is like, I think people forget how powerful our brains are, because we get so busy in our day-to-day life, and like we're always seeing everything out of our eyes, and because of that, we perceive the world the way we perceive it. And just because we perceive it one way doesn't mean that's the way that it is. It's just the way we see it. There's a really cool thing on choice theory, where if you really sit down and look at choice theory, it's pretty cool how they do it, where it's like the image comes into the brain, goes through a filter, goes through like another filter on where you perceive it, bounces off of one thing, and it's like hits your brain, and your brain thinks one thought, goes down to and it's pretty cool how they describe it, how your brain works with your eyes and all of that, and your senses, and so there was this, what was the name of the video? It was on HBO, and it had something to do with heroin, right? Or drugs in general, but a lot of it had to do with heroin. And they were showing, they took a guy who was addicted to smoking crack. He was a crackhead, right? He smoked crack. And he had been smoking crack for like 20 years. Well, he had, I think, 3 months clean or 4 months clean or whatever it was, and these doctors and scientists and all that, they brought him in. He sat down, and they put this like machine up to his face, and it showed a bunch of images, but they were so fast, they flashed so fast that you couldn't even recognize what they were. But his brain still lit up Every time it was a picture of a crack pipe, every time it was a picture of somebody smoking it, every time there was a picture of like a lighter or a cloud of smoke or like a city block, because his mind, like, and it was fast. It wasn't like he was just staring at a picture. It was a quick flash and you couldn't even barely tell what it was. But it's amazing just because he didn't really like in that part of his brain, it was so fast he couldn't see what it was, but the other part of the brain knew what it was. And it would light his brain up every single time there was a flash of something that he associated with smoking crack. And like, that's why addicts have such a hard time getting and staying clean, is because they're using because you need to use your brain to get clean. You need to make a decision to go to rehab with your brain. You have to pay attention to what you're learning. You have to digest what you're learning. You have to put into action what you're learning. The problem is that the same tool that you're using is the one that's affected by the addiction. So you're using a damaged organ to fight the same damaged organ. And it's difficult. It's hard to, like, you're playing a constant mental chess game all the time. Well, in the beginning, you're constantly playing a mental chess game of back and forth, push and pull. You have this one part of your brain that's saying, okay, don't do it. Stay in rehab. Don't leave early. Don't get high. Don't do this. Don't do that. And then you have this other part of your brain. The other part of your brain is saying, it's okay, but you'll feel so much better. But think about how much pain you're in. But this will get rid of all of that pain. If you just do it once, you'll be okay. It's not really a big deal. But you know the dealer. The dealer wouldn't sell you nothing bad. You've already had that stamp. You'll be fine. And it's like a constant back and forth, that's why addicts, they get all, you finally, you're like, I don't care. Just give it to me. I'll do it. And that's why I would cry on my way to get drugs, especially when I was relapsing, because this like good versus evil, angel on one shoulder, demon on the other shoulder is fighting with you back and forth and saying, like, do it, don't do it, you got it, you don't got it, you're good, you suck, you're worth something, you ain't worth shit. Yeah, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and finally you just give in and you say, you know what, I'm shutting this thing off because it's driving me insane. And that pull towards drugs is it's hard. There is this pull. And like that, I don't know how to really describe it, but it sucks you in somehow, man. Like, you want it. You don't want, no, you need it. You have to have it. It's almost like, and I know I use this analogy often, but it's the best way I can think to describe it, is just imagine being in the Sahara Desert for an entire month with absolutely no water, nothing to drink at all, nothing. Think about how thirsty you would be. Think about if you're, so you're in the desert for a month, right? Now let's say your mom had a glass of water in her purse, right? But she said you can't have that glass of water. You're not allowed to have the glass of water. But you haven't had any water for a month and you're thirsty. You would, I don't care who it was, the survival instinct in your brain, you would go in there and you would take that glass of water right up out her purse like it was nobody's business. And that's kind of what addiction is like, because your brain is crosswired to think. Let's say you have, this is survival, and then here's the things that you need to survive. Shelter, food, water, reproduction. You don't need to reproduce to survive, but you know what I mean. It's still part of your survival instinct to reproduce. Connection, all of these things. The more drugs you do and the longer you do them and the worse your addiction keeps climbing the ranks until one day it makes it to the very top spot where food, shelter, reproduction, everything else is all below addiction. And that's why you see addicts doing things that they know will kill them. That's why you see them getting high, spending their last amount of money on drugs, even though they haven't ate in 2 days. That's why sex is not something that they're worried about anymore. When you're getting high, you're not thinking about having sex. You could care less. You could be dating Cindy Crawford and be like, I'm good. No biggie. I'm fine. Yeah, I don't really feel like getting in the shower with you right now. Maybe another time. Nah, I'm good. Cool, no problem. Nah. Jennifer Aniston walks in. Nah, no big deal. For the girls, Brad Pitt walks in. Nah, I'm good, Brad. I'm good, Brad. Can I borrow your belt though? I need to tie my arm off real quick. I'm good though. Nah, put your pants back on. Put your pants back on. That's what it's like. And then, without the drug, so everything I just said, right? Let's just say everything that I just said, right? And then also, when you've been on it for a good amount of time, without it, oh my God, without it, life feels horrible. Your anxiety is at an all-time high. So like, let's say somebody who knows what PTSD feels like, it's worse than that. It's like all of the bad stuff you've done, all of the bad stuff that has ever happened to you, all the bad stuff that's even going on in the world that doesn't have anything to do with you, is all going in through your head at the same time. Oh my God, global warming. Oh my God, I was abused as a kid. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This anxiety level just skyrockets to like an ungodly level. Depression. The depression sets in when you're going through withdrawal, right? When you don't have any. The depression is like a little tiny demon just whispering in your ear all day saying, you're a piece of shit. You are a disgusting, worthless, junky piece of shit. Your parents hate you. Your friends hate you. The community hates you. The world hates you. Don't get up off this couch. Don't go get in the shower. Don't brush your teeth. Don't shave. Don't shave your legs. Don't do anything. Sit here on this couch and don't do shit. And that's what it feels like. And it sucks. Not only the anxiety and the depression, but the physical pain is so it's unmanageable. Your skin feels like somebody poured acid on it. It feels like it's like, oh, it's the, like if somebody walked up and like blew, you'd be like, stop. It hurts so bad. Your skin feels so sensitive. Your bones feel like somebody's inside grinding them, like just grabbing them and squeezing them. Like your bones are aching so bad. Feels like you can feel your blood circulating through your body. It is the worst. And then, once that goes away, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you're miserable, you're irritable, you feel like you're crawling out of your own skin, you're confused, the world feels really big and vivid, all the colors are really bright. It's like, oh, you walk outside, you're like, oh my God, the light, shut the light off, when's the sun going down, this is out of control. That's exactly what it feels like, and it's like the worst. I agree, Cindy. And it's just uncomfortable, man. So like, imagine going through all of that, and then the whole time you're, with everything I just said, right? So think about everything I just said about how an addict feels. On top of all of that, you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, like probation, fines, legal battles, warrants, child support. All of these different things are going on at the same time as you feel all of them ways. And you're just sitting there going, I'm just going to get high. At this point, why not? Why not? At this point. And that's what your brain's telling you. Just go do it. Who cares? You feel like shit. You're depressed. You have anxiety. You're on probation. You haven't seen your kid in 9 months. You owe 9 months worth of child support. You have a warrant. Cops are looking for you. You lost your job. Your car got repoed last week. Why not? Go get high. Who cares? Nobody cares. I'm just going to do it. I don't care. That's what happens. And like, that is like, I wouldn't wish living like that on anybody. I don't care what you did to me. You couldn't do nothing to me worse or bad enough for me to wish you living like that. That is the most uncomfortable, painful, miserable thing a human can go through, in my opinion, is being a heroin addict. It sucks. And it also sucks because you have a lot of people going, oh my God, look at this junkie piece of shit. He's scum of the earth, or she's scum of the earth. They ought to die. Why don't we just kill them all, get it out of the way? And you're sitting there just saying, man, like, I don't want to do this. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. I do not want to do this. This sucks. And people are like, they have a choice. Just let them. They have it. You know, they're choosing to get high every day. They're choosing to put that needle in their arm, not understanding that they're not. Not understanding that they're not. It would be like telling somebody with Alzheimer's that they're choosing to forget everything, or telling somebody with diabetes that they're choosing to not make sugar, whatever the hell diabetes is, or like telling somebody with, I don't know, liver failure that they're not processing things correctly because if they choose not to. A symptom of addiction is irrational behavior. Sticking a needle in your arm every day is irrational behavior. It's a symptom of addiction, not a choice of addiction. Sammy Sam. So like, I think that's a huge part of it. And then that's something that prevents people from wanting to go get sober, right? So like when you have somebody who is like the person under the bridge, that's a huge reason why they don't go get sober. Is because they're petrified of the withdrawal. Petrified. They're also petrified to not even only of the withdrawal, they're also deathly afraid of living life sober. Because that's scary. Because now you have to cope with all of your emotions, you have to cope with all of your feelings, you have to deal with life, you have to deal with your past, you have to do all these different things that you haven't done in 15 years. And how do you do them? How do you just learn how to deal with life? How do you just learn? Listen, when like the first 6 months I was clean, I was so confused about what the world was and what was happening inside of it. I didn't know what was going on half the time. I remember sitting down thinking, like, because you have to understand is that when you're doing heroin, the only thing going through your mind is heroin. That's it, nothing else. So I would sit down and think, how are we just sitting on a planet right now, floating through space, spinning around the sun? Like, is that crazy? I'd be looking at my hands going, what are these, like, what are these things? Like, how is my brain telling them to move right now? How is there, why are we here? Like, I would be thinking all of these crazy things, because, well, not crazy things, but just things that people think about, but like my mind hadn't thought about them in so long that I was sitting there like, this is some crazy shit. This is some Twilight shit. Look at my hands. It's Twilight. Like, I would feel crazy. I don't know. Addiction's a crazy thing. The majority, at least 80%, will not get sober. It's horrible. Glad to hear that, Cheryl Smith. Yeah, I couldn't imagine, like, I couldn't imagine being the mom or dad of an addict. I couldn't even imagine it, because you like, at least the addict is numb and like not feeling everything. The parents are feeling everything and they're watching it. Yeah, Diane. I'm about to clean the truck right now. I got the suit in the back. As soon as I get done cleaning it, I'll bring it over. So as soon as you, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it. Like, so like the parent is sitting there watching their loved one, their child, the most important person to them in their world, in their life, killing themselves slowly. And nobody's forcing them to. It's like, imagine, okay, so like, let's say this. Imagine being a parent for all the addicts out there who don't understand how their parents feel, or for the people who don't have a loved one in addiction. Imagine the person you love the most picking up a gun and you watching them slowly lift it up, so slow that it takes years to do. You're just watching them. Just watch them. And there's nothing, and you're screaming at them, stop, stop. And they're going, I am stopping, I won't do it again, and it's getting closer. And and you can't do nothing. And that's got to be the most, not only hard thing to watch, but it's got to be the most frustrating thing in the world to deal with, because you know that they have the key. Nobody else has the key. You know they have it. And you're telling them, you have the key to stop this. And it's like they're looking at it and they're like, no, I don't have it. I can't stop. I don't have the key. And that's what you're watching them holding it in their hand. And you're like, why don't you just stop? Stop, stop, stop. And you can't. It's got to be the most irritating thing in the world. I can't even imagine. I love that. As a mom, it's death by paper cuts. I like it. It's a really good saying. That's actually a really good saying, death by paper cuts. I might steal that from you, Holly. So this is what my mom always told me, and this is why I'm so adamant on the parents' end of it, is because like I can see what I did to my mom now, and it's devastating on my end to see what I have done. But I guess, hold on. So here's what my mom told me that she did. She said she sat there, got me a life insurance policy, and did the best that she could to prepare herself for that phone call that I'm dead. And she said that was the only thing she could do after a certain point. She tried to save me for a long time. She tried to chase me around for a long time. She tried to do all this. Finally, she just said, I had to sit down and just prepare myself to get that phone call. Hope that I don't get it, but prepare to get it. And like, that's the only thing she could do. Yeah, it's a miserable existence. It's a horrible existence. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So Tiffany, yeah, that's true. A lot of parents are in denial, and you know why? Because denial is that's like a natural defense mechanism, is denial. It's just a defense mechanism. You see something so painful, right? Finding out that your child is a heroin addict has to be one of the worst things you could find out. And it hurts so bad and it's so painful, your brain just says it can't be true. It's not true. It's like when somebody really close to you dies and it was unexpected and you say, they're not dead. They can't be dead. Like when they called me and said my Uncle Dave was dead, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way he's dead. He can't be dead. He can't be. He's my uncle. He can't be dead. There's no way. And your brain just, it's too much. Too much at once. Your brain just says, can't be true, because it doesn't want to deal with it. It's too much pain. It's too much pain, and you just rather not feel it. And some of that is subconscious. It's not even so much that you're making a decision to deny it so you don't feel the pain. Your brain is so complex, it makes that decision to protect itself. It's not you protecting you, it's your brain protecting it. It's saying, like, this is too much. This is way too much. It's going to hurt too bad. I'm going to not sleep. I'm not going to eat. I'm going to be stressed out. It's not true. Can't be true. So I hope everybody got something out of this video tonight. I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you guys get something out of the page. I hope you guys can get something out of what I'm trying to do, what we're trying to do. It's a really serious problem we're facing right now, and I'm just trying to do whatever I can to help as many as I can, because I've been there. My entire life I spent in that place. So if I can help anybody not go down or not go to that place, or to help anybody get out of that place, or to give anybody information on how to help somebody they love get out of that place, or whatever I can do, that's what I'm trying to do. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoy these videos, if you're getting something from these videos, if you agree with them, if you know somebody who needs to see them, hold on, I just turned my turn signal on my foot. Go up to the top right corner or left corner, I don't know which one it is. Hit the 3 dots. When the screen pops up, hit turn live notifications on, and that way anytime I go live, you'll get notified. Thank you, Ashley. Glad to hear that, Katie. Getting your autograph for my 15-year-old daughter. She wants it for Christmas. Hey, Nikki Mitchell, do me a favor. Hold on, let me tag my mom in that. I just tagged my mom in that comment, Nikki, and that way my mom can help me. She'll get it for you. Cause I have so much going on, but I will do that. Maybe I'll put it on a t-shirt. So send my mom your address and what size shirt your daughter wears, and I'll do it. Some parents with no clue what goes into their mind watching you. Lots of us know. I'm glad to hear I can help in some way, Brenda. I really do. Awesome, Katie. 16 days. I'm gonna get it, Ashley. I got her. You're awesome, Nikki. Congratulations, Kayla. 9 months. I likes it. Congratulations. So yeah, everybody, go ahead and turn your notifications on. Nikki, send my mom, Ma Van, a message, or call my number, 302-469-6629, and then let Tara know. Tara will let me know, and so on and so forth, and we'll get it rocking. Glad to hear that, Katie. Oh, very sorry to hear that, Bianca. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Thank you, Ashley. It's all right, Christy. Keep moving. It's okay. Don't count it. Don't even worry about how many days clean you have. Don't even worry about that. Awesome, Bethany. There you go, Aaron. All right, Nikki. Sounds good. Awesome, Tara. I'll look at it right now. Alright, guys. I gotta see you guys in a little bit. I love you guys. Share the videos. One last thing. Make sure that everybody is set up on this page, because pretty soon I won't be doing anything on the other page. It'll all be over on this page. So make sure you guys are on that page, okay? Love you guys. I'll see you guys shortly.